Damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
This is B-MoneyTrading. Gonna make this quick update. It is 1:36 a.m. So I need to get to bed soon. Setting the timer for 10 minutes. Try and keep this video short. And the timer is starting. So with that said, this is what my account looked like for today. At one point it was over 3.5% that I was up, and yesterday it was up over 2%. And so basically the market overall is making a turnaround, as I talked about in previous video, what I thought this buy was going to do and what we'd end up seeing, and that's why I was accumulating positions. I plan on adding to my account tomorrow. Tomorrow's payday, so I'll add either $100 to $200 depending on finances and what I need to take care of and how much I need to put back in savings, yada yada yada. And so with that said, and after hours, Apple came out with earnings. That was the big news. It didn't meet its expectations, and so there was a big sell-off on Apple. And so that Apple being such a big company and playing a decent portion in the stock market, it affected other stocks. I believe that it had an impact on TQQ, and you can see that it had sell-off in after hours. We were up to 54, say 54.50ish area, and then in after hours it dropped over $1. So anyhow, with that said, I wanted to talk about the consistency in trading, and that as boring as this may be, and I'll try and keep these, and I'll try to do some more like info, educational stuff for those who wish to learn. But basically, as boring as this may be, the whole point behind it is that even though I'm making a little bit of money after the after hours, so I made like 25, and we're just gonna round, say $25, not a whole lot, right? But I didn't lose $25. And truth be told, that the probability is continuing to stick to the strategy. Tomorrow, I'll end up in profit, and I'll make more money. And I can't have, and this is not just me, but for everyone, when you have a small account, you can't have the expectations that you're going to be pulling in, making $100, $200, $300 a day, every day, and then on top of that consistently, especially being new, because basically, in order for you to do that, you're going to have to dump all of your account into one stock, day trade it, and you only have 3, so hopefully you can either buy in and hold till the next day and sell it, or you could easily use up those 3 day trades within 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, and then that's it, you're done for the week. So how are you going to continue to make $200-$300? And then on top of that, the amount of risk that you're taking dumping your whole account into one trade, the probability is against you, that you may make it one day, and I'm telling you this from experience. I day traded for a good while, and over the course of time I had to look back at my track record, and it showed I had these months where each week I was making $700, $600, and then after a few weeks of doing that, I think my longest run was like 6 or 7 weeks. It was like close to 2 months that I was consistently making anywhere from $400 to $700 a week. And then all it took was getting greedy, and one big hit, the market took a dump, and it took my account with it. And so just saying that, as boring as this may be, you can look at my account and you can see where we're at today, and those who continue to day trade with a small account, we'll look from this day 6 months from now, and the probability is my account will be a lot closer to, like, I'm gonna just roughly, I would say around 10,000 to 15,000 K, and I would expect yours to probably be back at you're continuing to have to add money to your account, just to stay afloat, just because you keep blowing up your account. And so this is the whole point behind the strategy is I would rather be boring and making money than to be gambling and doing all this in and out and exciting trading and trying to find my way around the PDT rule, when if I just would have been patient, done some good quality stocks, added each week, which I plan on adding tomorrow, around $100 to $200. I'll let you know when I do it, and I'll end up either taking a new position in something, or I will add on to some of the positions I have if I feel like they're still undervalued and there's still potential there to make money. And so with that said, tomorrow, as the market continues to do what it does, I'd expect to get close to 2%, make 2% profit tomorrow. But the market has a mind of its own. I believe Apple has been way oversold, and if I didn't already have some of these stocks, then and I had the money to buy a share or two of it right now, then I would probably watch it, see how it trades tomorrow, and maybe either close to end of market, depending on how it traded, buy in a share or two, or but that would be, that's just my thoughts on it. So with that said, I got 3 minutes left. If there's any type of videos that you think would be of benefit, or questions, then feel free to leave a comment below, and I will do my best to capture and answer whatever questions or video topics you want to see. But ultimately, I may be making a little bit of money, and so 3.12% of this account is $44.49. Now as the account gets bigger and it gets to 2,000, then 3.12% is going to be a lot more than, it's going to be more than $44.49. And that's the whole goal, is that as the account gets bigger, even if I'm still continuously making 1% to 2% a day, it's going to grow and compound. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that I will be moving forward, and profit and gains, from now to 6 months from now and so on, by trading this way. As the new person trading and day trading and trying to have all this action and call outs and this, 6 months from now they'll be refunding their account again because they blew it up for the umpteenth time. And I tell you this from experience. I tell you from being around long enough to see other people do it as well as I've done it. Ultimately, you're not gonna know how successful you are until you're over a course of time. 1 week is not long enough to tell if you're gonna be successful. Even 6 weeks. There's a point when I was day trading and I was consistently, I think the longest run I had, I was making like on average anywhere from 400 to 700 a week, and I think I did that. The longest run I had was like 7 weeks in a row that I was making that kind of earnings, and the account was just growing quick. It was crazy. And then all it took was one bad trade followed after another one, and I'll tell you that all those gains, in less than a week, were like gone and then some. And so for me, after doing that a few times, I had to come to accept, like, this is just not working for me. Looking back at the past 9 months, year, like trading like that was just not working, and I think I matured as a trader, to be honest. I think I finally hit a level of maturity that it wasn't about being able to get on these Facebook groups and say, post your gains and look how much I made today or whatever. But I want to be that guy that posts up, look at where I'm at now 6 months later, and so by me doing this, and the 10 minutes is up, so I'm gonna have to shut it down. But by doing this, hopefully you keep watching each day, and I'll keep the video short, and you'll see as the count grows, and I'll let you know this is how much I added, this is how much I made in profits. And so 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, and so on, you'll see the count continue to grow. And hopefully you've started to find a strategy or something that works for you. If day trading is not cutting it, then hopefully you come to accept it sooner than later. That maybe that's just not your cup of tea, that maybe you need to get a bigger account to where you don't get shaken out of these trades so easily. But for me, like I said, taking these small positions, I can be down $1 a share, and it's not but a few bucks. It's not taking up my whole account, and I know it's going to make a turnaround. I have a plan and a goal, and if it doesn't, like AMD, I'll talk about that real quick. I was in AMD like a week ago, and it was before the earnings came out, and so I think like my average was like at like 23 something. I think I had like, I don't know, I think like 8 shares or something like that. I had a little more than a few more shares than I'd planned on having, but anyhow, with that said, it ended up dropping, and so finally when it got down to 17, I was down close to like $30, and I was like, that's as much as I'm willing to take on this, like a loss on this trade. And so I went ahead and sold it, and then I planned on watching it and keeping an eye on it, and if it started making its turnaround, then I would jump back in, and obviously it did, but I already invested that money into another stock, and so I didn't get back in, and now it's up at like, I think like 18 or something like that. But that's all right, I cut my losses. I didn't take such a big hit that I'm trying to like sit here and make it back. That oh yeah, 1950. But even then, I cut my losses, and it's okay to be wrong. The sooner I admit that I'm wrong about a trade, then the less money it's going to cost me. How important is it for you to be right? When the pain of losing so much money becomes greater than the fear of being, wrong, then you'll finally admit that you're wrong. And so for me, I've gotten a lot better at that as I mature as a trader. That it's not an ego deal, that if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and so be it. Let's just get out and look for some quality setups and some quality stocks, and make some money on it, And because I took that, basically like today, I made up that loss. Actually, yesterday I got close to making up that loss, and so like then everything today is just straight up profits, and I've made up that, because it's only $30. And I was able to hold and let it take such a big drop because I had such small position sizing. It was only making up about 10% of my account. And so that was the whole key and goal behind it, is that I'm looking at the rules that I have, the limitations I have as far as the access to the markets, not like the people with lots of money. My account size isn't like the people with lots of money. But I would expect that they're trading similar to what I'm trading. They're not dumping their whole account into one stock and jumping in and out and making multiple trades throughout the day. They may be making multiple trades, but it's with a small portion of their account, you know what I mean? And so a small portion of the account may be like $20,000. It might be like, 10% of their account, or 15% of their account, and so but they're gonna make good returns on that. And that's the whole deal, is if I can get continue to grow this account, I have to be realistic. And so realistically, it's going to take some time. I continue to work my ass off, work overtime, add when I can to my account, and then make sure I take good quality setups, and I have a plan, a trading plan when I get into them, so that I don't take a huge loss on it, and it's easy for me to bounce back from it. and I continue to be in profit, and the losses that I take are so small that it's a small dent in the profit that I've made, to where I'm not down. I'm still up in profit, just not as much, And so with that said, I'll try and make this next video. I'll try and focus on an actual like topic, and I'll see y'all in the morning. Have a good night and happy trading.